In this video, we are going to look at where we find some really great statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay, so in covering employment and unemployment and prices and inflation, all of this information is readily available at our fingertips. So if you go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I'm just starting out on their homepage so that I can walk you through all this information. Right now in the center of their homepage, they have, if you start over here, and it might look like this when you first log on, they have the redesigned regional home pages, and you can go to whichever state you want to look at information for, or you can go for what type of information you're trying to find. Are you trying to find employment numbers, unemployment numbers, prices, consumer price index, pay, benefit, workplace injuries? What type of information are you looking for? As you continue your degree, a lot of times when you're working on political papers, you'll find a lot of helpful information under the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So let's just go over and look at the regional page for the West. If you see over here on the side, we've got New England, New York, New Jersey, the Southwest, the Midwest, the Southeast, the Plains, and the last one is the West. So let's look at the West. This is this is probably the easiest place to find some really great data for California. Okay, so first they kind of go over where's the West, which states are included: Washington, Idaho, Oregon, Nevada, Alaska, California, Arizona, and Hawaii. Now, if you come down here, we're looking over here where it says economic summaries. This area right through here. If you choose California, it's going to break it down by different regions in California. Oh, actually, try clicking here. For some reason, that link wasn't working. And we can look right here where it says San Francisco Area Economic Summary, and this is a great summary of everything going on in the San Francisco area. So basically, it looks at unemployment, employment, wages, prices, spending, and benefits. Okay, so here's just some of the data. And then everything is kind of sectioned off very easily. So the average weekly wages for all industries by county. So Marin, Contra Costa, Alameda, San Francisco, and San Mateo, all the different places. Well, if you're trying to decide where to live, this gives you an idea of where you'll make the highest weekly wage. However, most often the cost of living and the weekly wage are very closely tied, so it is most likely going to be much more expensive to live in these areas with the higher wages. So if you look over here, we've got all the unemployment data that we need. The first, it looks at what's going on with the United States. So as of April 14th last year, our unemployment rate was 5.9%, and April 2015, it is 5.1%. Okay, now we look at different areas. The San Francisco area, 4.9 down to 4.0. Alameda County, 5.5 down to 4.5, Contra Costa County 5.8 down to 4.7, and we're able to see that all the different areas. It is missing Sonoma County. However, all the different areas we're able to see that unemployment has definitely been reduced across the board since last year. Okay, so the next graph that we're going to look at is going to look at what's going on over time with unemployment. So unemployment on non-farm payrolls. Well, if you happen to work on a farm, this doesn't include you, but it looks at the other industries. And we see that this red line is the San Francisco area, where this down here, this is the national, the United States national line. So an interesting thing to look at is changes over from one year to the next, kind of get an idea of which industries are growing, what percent changes. Well, obviously mining and logging, that's not a very good industry to be looking at getting a job in. It's definitely having a significant reduction in output and in how many people are working in there. So information technology, IT, not surprisingly, that's definitely where we see one of the largest gains, professional and business services. If you look at going into education, education is growing. It's not growing by very much, but it's growing a little bit. Government sector, all of these things. This is the percent that that the employment has gone up by. Okay, so down here, now let's look at what's going on with prices. Okay, if you look at what's happening for the 12-month weighted CPI, we see that this is the unchained one. We see that the dark color is San Francisco, and you can't even see the light color here, but the light color is the rest of the United States. So overall in the United States, energy spending, the price on energy is down almost 20%. Okay, in California, it's down almost 10%. If you look at what we're spending on all items collectively, we've had about 2.4% of a price increase, where the rest of the nation has stayed relatively equal. It's gone down a tiny bit. And then if you look at what's going on with food, we see that our food prices have gone up 2.8%, where the national average for food prices has only gone up 2%. Okay, this data over here looks, if you happen to be in hospitals, hospitality, so hotels, or general freight trucking, which are some indicators of what's going on with the economy, this gives us a really good idea. So we have what are called lagging and leading indicators. And what's going on in hotels, well, this tells us the amount of people traveling and spending money on vacations today has to do with how much money they made yesterday. So we would say that hotels are a lagging indicator. It tells us where the economy was. Where general freight trucking, well, we can kind of look at anything that has to do with producing as could possibly be a leading indicator. And look, freight trucking, which moving goods and services, has definitely been going down over these last couple of years. Okay, so this could be an indicator of what we might be seeing in the not too distant future. Okay, so how do households spend their money? Well, in the San Francisco area, the median house income of $70,000. What are they spending it on? Well, about 35.8% is going towards housing. They have some going towards transportation, food, personal insurance and pension, healthcare, and then this is everything that's not included in that. This next table is great to look at how much your friends are making. So do you have some lawyer friends? Well, on average, they're topping the charts with making somewhere around $78 an hour. Okay, the national average is only $64 an hour. Do you have some friends that are cooks in fast food in the fast food industry? Well, they're making a little under $11 an hour in the San Francisco area, where the national average is down at $9.15. So if you look at all occupations together, the San Francisco, if we took the average of them, the San Francisco average for these is $31.25, which is above the national average almost by $10 an hour. So we definitely have higher wages in the San Francisco area, which equate to higher standard of living and higher cost of living. Okay, so employer costs per hour worked for wages and selected employee benefits. This information, it's helpful if you happen to be asked this information. It's not something that I would expect you guys to know. I mean, I don't know what the total compensation for the Pacific area versus the United States is. I do know that it is relatively close at $34 an hour to up here where we see $31 an hour. So those definitely are highly correlated. But this graph right here is relatively interesting, because we can look at what's been happening over the last 3 years. Now, this dotted line is the national average. So changes over the last 3 years, from March 2012, March 2013, March 2014 now to March 2015. So we see that over the last 3 years, we have a slight increase towards this last year in national wages. Well, if you look at San Francisco area wages, we started off in March of 2012 below the national average, which is kind of surprising, because since then we've been significantly above it at times. However, this last year, we've definitely seen a decrease in overall wages in San Francisco, in the San Francisco area, and in a lot of the metropolitan areas in California in general. Okay, so this is great information, one page where you can bring a lot of the information that you might need for this class, for any econ class, and obviously for any sort of policy classes that you might be working on throughout the rest of your education.